man, of course now I'll need to pee when I'm ready to film it. Well, how's it, people? So let me explain. You see, some time ago I made this video. I basically just talked about all the reasons I love living in Korea. But then I had that one person who was like, oh, why don't you talk about the things you don't like? Why is it so one-sided? So let me explain. I never made a video about all the things that I don't like about Korea for a very simple reason. Yeah, I know it was a little bit one-sided, but this is the thing about Korea for me. Korea has a really soft spot in my heart, just because I know how much Korea has changed my life. I know this sounds really corny and really cheesy, but it changed my life completely. I come from a really tiny town back in South Africa, one-horse town. I can't even call it a one-horse town. I don't even think it has one horse in it. I love my country. It'll always be my home. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I had no life back at home. I moved to Korea. My life completely changed for the better. And here we are. So yeah, Korea has done so much for me that I find it difficult to focus on the negatives. But I also realize that I am being one-sided. So let me make this video on some of the things that I not necessarily don't like. Okay, no, some of the things I'll be honest, I don't like them, but some of the things that I just can't get used to in Korea. My South African culture is just like even after 6 years. And let me be real. Let me finally make this very balanced. And here you go. Are you happy now? Okay. The first cultural thing that I still have a problem getting used to is the questions, very direct questions that are completely appropriate for a Korean person to ask because it's completely appropriate in their culture. But in South African culture, those questions are a little bit questionable. For example, when they first meet you, a Korean person will always ask you how old you are. This question I have absolutely no problem with. I just do not give a rat's bum about telling people my age. I don't care. And I totally understand it. It's, you know, in Korean culture, they have different ways of speaking to you depending on your age. I get it. I will always get asked, you know, whether I'm married, whether I have a boyfriend, whether I have children. Those questions don't bug me at all. But there are some questions that I'm still like, ugh. I can't even count the number of times I've been asked this question by taxi drivers, by bus drivers, shopkeepers. And that question is, how much money do you make? I was just asked this question last night, and to this day I have still never answered that question. It still kind of bugs me, that question. I just don't understand why you should need that information. I just don't feel like I ever need to give anyone that information, whether you are South African, whether you are Korean, whether you are from Timbuktu. And I know they don't have any bad intentions. It's just this thing that Korean people do about asking these questions, questions which might not be appropriate in my culture, but it's totally fine with them, you know? If someone asked me that question in South Africa, I'd be like, bruh, bye. The next thing I can't get used to, the sound effects that people make in Korea when they're eating or drinking. Yeah. So you know how back at home it's kind of impolite to slurp when you drink or to eat incredibly loudly, the chewing sounds. This is something that is totally okay in Korean culture. Maybe I just have that, what's that disorder called? what's that disorder called? Misophonia? I just can't stand those sounds. I know my father also does it. My father has this, he chews so loudly and I just want to smack the top of his bald head. But anyway, it doesn't matter which country I'm in. I can't stand those chewing sounds and the slurping sounds. I actually asked one of my previous colleagues about it, and she said that the slurping while drinking coffee or whatever, it's a sign of savoring. Did I tell you I'm an English teacher? It's a sign of savoring that meal. I'm not even joking, I'm not even exaggerating. That's how a Korean person will drink their coffee. Maybe it's my misophonia, however you say that. Maybe it's that, but I just can't get used to those sounds. I'll never forget this one time. A previous school, they took us out for lunch to a noodles restaurant. The entire staff was seated in this one room. We were all eating our noodles. Can you imagine what that must have sounded like when there were about 20 of us and we were all eating noodles? Yeah, exactly. The other thing I still can't get used to is something I've touched on before. And a big part of Korean culture is doing things together. And as you know, hi, I'm Sam and I'm forever alone. I still find that really difficult, especially sometimes when I'm going to a restaurant and I'm by myself. I don't always have a friend with me. Sometimes I'm by myself and I want to eat something. But now I have to worry about which restaurant I'm going to, because some restaurants in Korea will actually turn you away if you are by yourself. Quite a few restaurants in Korea, their servings only start at 2 and over. So you have to have someone with you if you want to eat. You know, sometimes I really want gamjatang. I really want it, but I can't eat it because I need at least 2 or 3 people with me. And even though I'm willing to pay you that price for 2 people, I'm willing, even if it's just me, I'm willing to pay that price for 2 people. And whatever I don't finish, I don't mind taking it home and I'll eat it over the next 2 days. That's fine. But they will not accept it and they will turn you away because I'm one person. The next one I still have difficulty getting used to is the brutal honesty of Korean people. Korean people are very direct and it's very jarring. It catches you off guard. Hey, big ups to you for being honest, but sometimes, you know, just sometimes, honesty is not the best policy, especially if I put on a little bit of weight. This has been happening recently, true story. I call it my winter body. I put on a few more kilos just because I eat a little bit more. It's just, you know, because it's cold, you know. But a Korean person will just tell you, oh, Sam, these days you look healthier and healthier. And I'm like, bruh, I know what you mean by healthier and healthier, okay? I don't need to know that I put on weight, okay? I know I put on weight. And it's just something that catches me off guard because back in South Africa, if someone sees that you've put on a little bit of weight, unless they're very, very close to you, fine. But like if you're not that close to that person, they'll keep it in their minds, which is where it should remain. I mean, I love the fact that you're honest. I love it. We're being real with one another. You know, sometimes I'm just like, wow, I had no idea that we had reached that level in our relationship where we're brutally honest with each other. But I'm glad that we clearly reached that level in our relationship, even though, you know, it's only day 3 of knowing each other. But hey, I'll never forget this one time I had a bit of a wonky haircut and I was pretty self-conscious about it, and I was like, you know what, it's fine. No one will notice, hopefully. No, and if they do, it'll be fine. No one will say anything, hopefully. And I got to school and everyone, whether it was the teachers, whether it was the students, they were all like, oh, Sam. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Open your books. God. The last one. I've left this one for last intentionally because it's the one thing I don't know if this is a cultural thing. I don't know, but in the end, it's something that happens in Korea a lot. And it's something I will never get used to. Never, ever, ever. Even if I live here for 20 years, it's going to bug me. And that is the spitting. I was racking my brain trying to figure out if we do this in South Africa. You know, I just don't think we do. And if we do, it's definitely not to the extent like it happens in Korea. Everywhere you go on the streets, it's so common for men especially, not saying that girls don't do it, but men especially, just spit on the streets. And it's not like a tiny bit of spit, it's a whole glob of spit. Everywhere you go on the streets, there will be globs of spit. The one silver lining about this issue is that most of the time there's a warning. Like I will know when someone is about to spit. They make the sound, it's kind of like a guttural sound just before they spit. It's like it's exactly that. When I hear that sound, I just know, okay, I need to make a beeline in the opposite direction because I want to be as far away from you as possible when that spit comes out your mouth. I won't lie to you, this is something that I actually hate. It's gross, man. It's gross. Obviously, like, who's gonna enjoy that, you know? So I think that's about it. We'll leave it there. I just want to say, these things that I've mentioned, they're not enough to drive me away from Korea. Like I said, I absolutely love Korea. It's my second home. I'm oddly very patriotic when it comes to Korea. But obviously, there are going to be some things that still don't sit well with me. Having said that, these are things that I would never change about Korea. Even the spitting. As much as I hate it, I would still never change it. I remember for my Q&A, someone asked me if there's anything in Korean culture I would change, and the answer is still no. I mean, where would the fun be? What is the point of experiencing a new culture if you're going to want to change something about the culture? Yes, there are going to be some things that are very different to my culture, but that doesn't mean I'm going to want to change those things. I love you, Korea. I love you. I hope this gave you a more balanced idea about Korea. I've now done the pros, I've done the cons. We're balanced now. Are you happy? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy the video, give it a like. Don't forget to follow me on all the social medias. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. For goodness sake, it's bloody free. I'm Indian, like I appreciate free things. It's free. Just go and subscribe, okay? And I will see you next week for a new video.